it is now a nice looking edge that we have going on with there. And you're going to see that it actually held these edges pretty nice, pretty decent. And now we're going to work on this side. So we're going to take this out of the sub D. And I'm going to take the solid texture off of it. And if you guys have problems with the audio on here or anything like that, let me know. I was having a little bit of problems before, but hopefully that I worked those issues out. Alright, so now we're going to work on getting these edges working. Select our edge tool, select these corners. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same as I did on the other side. I'm going to bring them down just a tiny bit, and I'm going to bring it in just a little bit too. Alright, that looks pretty decent for an edge. That is rocking. Alright, so for the most part, minus the middle part, which we will get to, this is a pretty good start with the actual body. So it's very simple. You don't have a lot of polygons, so that you'll see that whenever I go ahead and I do a render, it jumped up in no time like that. If I have tons of polygons, it's going to take a lot of time. Even if I make it into a sub D surface, when I render it, it doesn't even take a second, which is great. So the more polygons you have, the longer it's going to actually take to render itself. And you can, and like if I wanted to have more polygons to do other things, we can actually go about doing that at a later time. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to start working on this ring right here. And then I'm going to start working on this thing, and then I'm going to do these three pieces. So I'm looking at these as three separate pieces. And the best way that I'm going to go about doing it is I'm going to create a circle. And good, it's in the right. It's going to go in the right spot. Try to find the middle right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this down, and I'm going to use this to create the outer ring. And we're going to use NURBS to do this, so try to get a good set to it. So the way that, and I'll start, I'll get this loft out for it. So this is going to be a knob faceplate. And this is going to be knob faceplate ring. Okay. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, and then do another copy and paste, bring that one down just a little bit, probably right here, copy and paste, and I'm going to bring that one down just a little bit more. And then I think I did one more, so I'll do it over here to the first knob, copy and paste. Okay, so go ahead to the center view, and what we're going to do is we are going to loft this. So if I take, that's what the creator right here is, a loft object. I'm going to take this and put it in there, and then I'm going to go in order to 1, to 2, 3, and this one is actually going to be the back part, but I'll get to that in a second. All right, so right now it's lofting, and what it's really doing is it's creating an object or a NURB object between them. So right now I'm going to try to take this ring, and as I bring it in or bring it out, you're going to see it's going to give me a little bit more of an extrusion to it. And so I like to just kind of play with this, and I'm actually might need to. All right, you gotta see where. I'm sorry. To see where the. Bring this out really far so I can see. Turn off the actual cap. I think it's the. Nope, not that one. I'll turn off none. So now that I have that turned off. Alright, so we'll take this back one. We'll bring it back just a little bit more. Now I was looking at that object, and I have it right here. That might actually work pretty well without this extra NURBs in the back. But I'm actually going to go ahead and add one. Put this one right there. And the reason why I'm doing that is that sometimes you get some weird artifacting with NURBs on the end part. And so what this is going to do is I'm going to take pretty much the part where it would be kind of get some weird artifacting, and I'm bringing it back to where it's not going to give me any problems. Now that's a nice looking object, but that's not exactly how I want it, so I'm going to have to go ahead and mess with, oops, sorry. Alright, I'm going to have to go ahead and we're just going to keep editing the NURBs itself with this ring. Alright, so okay, I see which one I probably need to move is this one. Alright, that's going to allow me to kind of have a little bit more of a look like that. And we'll bring it in just a little bit more. Scale it in. Gives a little bit more of a smooth object to it. Everything's looking pretty good. Alright, so that's a good object. And I can actually bring this down all the way if I want to. Will be hidden. This little part will be hidden underneath the knob itself. So if you have something that looks kind of on the ugly side of things, and it's gonna be covered up by another object, don't worry about it. I think this part that's just some weird shadowing with the lighting. All right, so I have my faceplate done. So what next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this on, and now it's just not in the right spot. So we are going to just bring it forward. Just like this. We're gonna bring it forward just so that it is out just a little bit. And so now you're like, oh my gosh, this is causing problems in here. So now that we have this lofting set up, we're going to actually go ahead and we're going to do a little bit more editing with this this object that we have, the camera body. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create some loops so that I can actually go ahead and delete out. We can either, there's two things we can do. We can either delete or we can create plenty of geometry to bring it back in, just so that we can get the depth of this the actual faceplate of itself. So I'm going to go ahead and get the knife tool. From here, I'm going to try to get it as good as possible where it's going to be inside. hold on. I have things selected. I don't need selected. All right. Get the knife tool again. Well, there might be something weird. All right, looks like it created something. All right, undid that. Deselect everything. Don't need anything selected. All right, and get my knife tool again. And I just might do it in here in this perspective, so I know exactly where I'm gonna put them. I don't have some weird perspective problems. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of creating geometry so that I can actually get rid of. Actually, I'm going to do it again. So that is going to intersect. No, I just might add some red there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm only working on this faceplate, I really need to get rid of these ones right here. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select the faces, get my face tool. I'm going to get rid of these four right here. And I'm just going to just make sure that I'm not deleting anything else. Check my perspective view real fast. Everything is lined up in here. So we'll get that set up. Go ahead, delete it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do some vertex editing. I'm just going to kind of move things around so that they're going to hide behind the actual nerve itself. I'm not going to have any weird lines or anything like that. It's going to poke through it. And bring this up a little bit. Actually, probably select this one. Bring it back a little bit more. Okay, so now right now, if I go ahead back over here, okay, it looks like maybe this need to bring this in just a little bit more. Okay, so what we can see here is that we have this flat object, but it actually goes in a little bit into the actual model. So if I go inside the actual model, you're going to see that the faceplate is actually inside the actual depth of the faceplate itself. So it's going to make that this has like a little bit of a dip to it. Alright, so we have that done. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work on the knob. And this is the trickiest piece in here, just the fact that it's not only a cylinder, but it has a weird cut in the actual object itself. About, I would say probably maybe a centimeter in. It actually has it goes back to being like having a flat side to it to actually being round all the way. Alright, the way that I'm going to go about doing this is we're going to do some polygon cutting and sculpting with the polygon itself. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the visibility of not only the knob or the knob faceplate, but the camera body itself. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a cylinder. So what we have here with the cylinder, if I go ahead and I go to the lines, is that I see I have this look to it. Now this is not too bad, but the way that this has a weird flow to it, where everything comes in this way, it's actually it's gonna give me a little bit of an issue with creating that flat edges on it itself.